Shaolin, now all I touch, I am a master here.
So, at the end of Cavell's, obviously, when they split up, you had a little bit of a gap, didn't you, there? And then I know we were talking about doing stuff for a while, weren't we? Always been interested to, because obviously we've been friends for a bit, and it was always like, if we ever got the opportunity, we would do something together, wouldn't we? So then when the opportunity came up, how did you find that time and stuff like that, and finding your feet in this band and that? Because it was mad, wasn't it?
It was funny, yeah, because like you said, after Cavell's, I had a good few years, good couple of years, at the very least, out of doing anything. And I said, exactly like you said, we always said that, who should all happen? If we can ever do it, then we will. But then we never thought it'd turn up. We never thought it would, because you were obviously in a different band and you were doing your thing, which was great. And then I'd obviously met James and Ryan and everyone, and sort of started coming to see your gigs and whatnot.
Once. You came and watched one.
No.
That's not pretend that you're that's not that you pretend you're a number one fan here.
I know exactly.
You came once in Leeds. Yeah. In Leeds.
Did you buy a ticket?
Did I? No, I probably did actually support you at one of your last that. Hey, no, I'll come to some before that.
I'm sure
I wanted to prove a point. I wanted to prove a point to say, nah, come on over here. This is where you want to be with me. You know what I mean? Trying to put some cool.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
It was your fault. All this
treating you mean. All this is my fault. But yeah, it was interesting. And then when we finally got the opportunity to do that, when you guys no longer had any commitments, and obviously I didn't have any for a couple of years, we finally, pretty much straight away got in a studio, got in Granada, in Manchester, and got a room and started going straight away, pretty much. And that's when we all just kind of threw our heads together in one barrel.
Freedom years.
The freedom years.
It was, mate. It was great.
It sound like it is. Yeah.
It seems like a while ago now, but it was a great little thing we had going. Wanted to just literally turn up, record, get off.
Yeah.
Want it
at whatever time you wanted. You come in at 11 o'clock at night, record till 3 a.m, go home. Sound.
It was amazing.
It was class, wasn't
it? That gave us the time and space we needed though to crack it. It took a while.
Yeah, it did.
But without having that space, and that's a big challenge as well for bands, is finding a space, a rehearsal space, or a place to go and record or make loud noise. We were really, really blessed with that place. I really do miss it as well, actually.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
we were lucky, weren't we? Was it because it was Tommy's band at the time? They were rehearsing there. We came and just moved our stuff in a little bit, didn't we? Is that what happened? And then it was just they had a little spare room on the side from the rehearsal room. We were just locked in that little, like a cubby. It was like a cupboard on it. We had a little recording setup and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was an old studio. That was the beauty of it. It was an old Foley studio for recording like sound effects and stuff. And
it was, wasn't it? That was the little room for you.
So it was all soundproofed. It had all the cables running through to the next room and stuff. The multi-core. It was brilliant. Yeah.
And they knocked it down.
Yep, they knocked it down.
The
dream was over.
What were there a year? Were they a year? Just over a year?
Something
I think it was just over a year, yeah. I don't miss the smell of it.
No, the smell was a bit funky.
It was, but yeah. So then literally when we started that, Denny, and obviously we were recording in that at first, and it was kind of just throwing ideas about and everything. And then when we decided, actually, no, we're enjoying this now, we should look to start rehearsing these tunes or get recorded and stuff like that. You ended up on bass guitar, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
To my initial despair, but joy at the same time, because I knew I knew what I was going to put myself through for a little bit. But yeah, obviously I played bass in the Cavell's, and obviously sang was the front man in there, but I had a bass, tried and play bass, which I enjoyed playing bass, don't get me wrong. Like, when I first got told I was going to play bass and sing, when I was younger, like in the first start of bands, I was upset and pissed off that bass is singing, all right, yeah, it's cool, isn't it? A nice one. So I was fuming with that. But then I did it, and then I found it was all right. And then when
There's been some cool bass players who sing.
Yeah,
over the years.
which is what I have to come up with every conversation when I used to be in the band. Yeah. Paul McCartney, yeah. Oh, Sting, yeah. Will Lennon, yeah.
Will Lennon?
Yeah, Will Lennon.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm scared of saying his name wrong every time, so I'll say it dead quick so you can't.
I know.
But yeah, so then it felt like the right thing to do, because at that point we had 2 guitarists and keys and drums and a bassist, and you were singing, which was the right thing to do, and I were going to support you singing. But then with the tunes we were playing were pretty mad.
We went to the studio.
So
the first time.
What?
Remember the studio? The first time we went in, you were playing bass.
Yeah.
Hated it, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm going to build up to that point. That was going to be my end point. Say, oh,
sorry, mate.
Sorry. No, I wasn't joking.
No, I
didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. It was, I think when you've got a true, it's like you've got a true passion for something and you want to do something right. And imagine you're a footballer, but you love football and you want to play football, but you're a striker. And this is no disrespect to any position on the pitch compared to what musician you're in a band at all, but you want to be up front and that, and you want to be doing what you think you're good at and you're passionate about, but you want to still play the game and be involved. So therefore, you'd reduce yourself to be the defender or the keeper or something. And I think that's probably how I felt. Even when I was in the Cavell's front in that with the bass, sometimes I didn't feel like I was able to really concentrate on my performance as a vocalist or a performer to a degree. Don't get me wrong, I give it a good go. I'm not a weasel. I did all right with it, but yeah. So I knew I want the world's best bassist as well because of that. Because I like to concentrate on my vocals, and when I was in previous bands, and I didn't give it the time of day because I wanted to sing and write music and stuff. And then we went into the studio and played and recorded a couple of songs, and obviously I was just nervous and just. Yeah. I don't know. It was a lot of pressure. It wasn't like me, I guess.
But I was exactly the same though for myself in previous bands when I was playing guitar. Like, it's just the fear gets you, and then there's no way out of it. It's just like you just want to. It's like you're getting chased by a tiger in it, and you just want to get out of there quick.
Yeah.
So you can't even think about what you're playing. But like, it was tough,
but back to that part of me, I think I even rounded that point off before about the football analogy that I give you. But obviously I wanted to be a singer. That's what my thing. I wanted to be up there being a singer and being the striker, if you like. And I didn't really want to be a bassist. I think you spotted that. I think I remember I was having a pint in the bath with my dad. And I'm doing that for people that's not heard that saying before, but there's a local pub round by me called the Bath Hotel, and it's called the Bath. That's where my dad drinks. You imagine having to answer the phone to your mates when you're having a drink with your dad at the local boozer, and they say, "What are you doing, Demers, are you?" And I go, I'm just in Bath with my dad. They go, "What?" "Yeah, I'm just in Bath with my dad and my mum's here and all." "So are you?" Imagine that. And I didn't realise until someone actually said, that's, oh God, yeah. But anyway, right. for the listeners that. But and then you text me saying there's something up with you, and there's what's going on here kind of thing, and sort of tried to crack me, didn't you, and talk about it.
Yeah, man. Well, it was obvious. I think Ryan will agree. Like, you weren't comfortable. You didn't see yourself around that point, and then it was like we were talking to Matt about it when you weren't there and stuff, and he was like, he was saying, "Well, what can you do?" And we were like, "Well, you can sing," you know what I mean? And then I think you got a little glimpse in that session of your vocal, and we were like, "Oh, hold on a minute." And then obviously the next few times after,
it's when we went down, like when we did that, and I played bass on that part of the earliest stuff, and then I did a bit of backing vocals, and we did a bit of sort of melody writing for some middle eights of the tracks, and then we went back, didn't we? Us three, and did a vocal session with Matt and George, and that was pardon my French, fucking incredible. Yeah, it was like fucking walking straight into the light, man. It was incredible. Like I was able then, and going to, which we've talked about and you've discussed before, but the meaning of the band and going back into that element, you've not really touched on it yet, but that for me was like coming out and doing that thing that I wanted to, and getting from behind that bass guitar at the time. That was the obstacle for me to put down, to do and put myself out there, and not, it was that, and we had a cracking time down there for a couple of days, and recorded 3 or 2.5 tracks, I think, didn't we? And really come into our own and started writing a few more little sort of melodic parts between us. And
I think, mate, out of probably everyone, I mean, I know we've all been on our own personal journeys throughout the band and stuff like that, but I think out of yourself, you're probably the best representation of the meaning behind the band. How it's kind of like stepping out of your comfort zone, coming out of the dark into the light, like you've just said, and stuff like that. And obviously for me and Ryan to watch and observe, like the way you've improved and the confidence, because obviously going in to the studio, I'd worked with Matt before, so I knew what it was about, and I knew he could get the best out of me. But obviously when you're working with a producer for the first time, it's difficult because you need to get into each other's kind of zone and stuff like that.
That's as a vocalist as well, isn't it? You mean? Like...
Yeah, as a vocalist, definitely as a vocalist, mate. Definitely. You're in that booth alone with everyone in the room behind you. They can hear everything that's going on. You're stuck there going, "Is it shite?" Yeah, because and it's like you don't know what anyone's saying. You don't know what anyone's saying in there and stuff like that. And you're giving it your all. And
you're waiting for end at take, and you hear Matt going, "Yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, we're good." Oh God, I don't think it's good. No,
yeah. It is, man. It is when you're in there, man. It's horrible. Obviously,
but Matt, like you told me that backstory, and Ryan's alluded to this a lot before we went down to record with Matt, because you did it with your previous outfit in Cupid's, didn't you? And you went and recorded with him, and you were saying he sort of gets the best out of you, and sort of he goes in sort of hard to get that, which is great. And my first experience of going in with him and doing that, he did exactly that and got that out of me and showed me the sort of different ways to be a vocalist again, like he did with you, in terms of timing or pitching or discipline or anything like that, and is able to open that up. And I think he likes his vocal sessions.
He does. Well, he's a singer. He's a singer himself.
Yeah, exactly.
So he understands, but his vocal production
is
incredible. Like what he's done for me, and I think you'll agree and say the same. Like it's just brings you completely out of your shell and just gets you into that character who you actually want to be, but are too scared to be. Maybe what I mean. And it's kind of like he brings that out of you, and like mate, it has been a pleasure to watch from the side just how much, especially on that last session. Obviously the people aren't heard the tunes yet and stuff, but it's about it's coming and stuff.
Exactly.
So no one will see this side, like the vulnerable side. And there is a vulnerable side, isn't there, to all of us? Like, especially when we're in the studio, because you're naked under that lens, and it's like you've really pushed yourself these past few times, mate. So I'm sure Ryan will agree as well. So
no, I've enjoyed it thoroughly. We've seen each other progress as well. But Ryan, obviously, you said the sort of same thing before I went down and recorded with Matt, didn't you, about how he'll be able to get the most out of you, like, and spend time with you, if you like.
Yeah, it's very consultative, if that's a word.
If it's not, it should be.
It should be. It is now. And I think the biggest thing for you, Luke, was that you actually weren't enjoying the bass, and therefore you weren't performing in that role. As soon as you switched to singing, it's what you wanted to do. It was what you were good at, and therefore your performance was amazing. I think that's a really important thing is to highlight, which kind of transcends everything really, is that if someone's not enjoying what they're doing, then the chances are is they're not going to be very good at it.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a one end of the spectrum of it. But, if you're not really happy with what you're doing, you really should try and look and do something else.
I've never actually thought about it that way.
Yeah.
In fact, I've subconsciously delivered a beautiful message to the world.
You have, yeah. You've packaged it up nicely there.
I'm taking that myself. Thanks for describing
You've
it.
packaged it, yeah. It was nice little analogy.
No,
Sort
but
of
thanks.
describe
And
the situation.
I agree with you in that sense. Like, I weren't enjoying it, so I weren't putting into it. I was worrying too much about, like Sid said when he was in the booth, and he'd worry about people thinking stuff. You'd do that and you'd get inside your own head and you wouldn't be able to be the performer, because deep down you didn't really want to be that performer doing that particular thing. You wanted to be doing something else. So therefore, exactly like you say, why and how can you put the best into it if you're telling yourself you can't be or you don't want to be?
It's you can go back to the football analogy. Is there's some fantastic footballers, but where you get the best out of them is in their preferred positions. If you're pulling them out of position, the chemistry's not there, they become unhappy, or they're not quite fitting in that position. So
Tony Marshall's just going through this constantly, isn't he? He doesn't have a clue where he is. He's the lead
Every
he needs to listen to this.
Goes through that.
Yeah, he needs to listen to this, right? He'll get some inspiration from you here. Definitely.